you've obviously got a fair bit of history behind you.
Thank you.
With all these different projects and bands. Post Danger, you had a band called Bone Machine.
I love that band. Yeah, and actually J3 is now playing with Tommy Lee.
I read that.
I see him on the Tonight Show, and I sit there and I cheer at the screen, and I just love him. He's always been a genius, and his genius is still there, and I just love J3 is great. He's the driving force and main songwriter, you know, in Bone Machine. And it was just a real cool period in my life. I was a little bit angry at the time, so it's some of my heavier stuff. But then there's really cool ballads that came out as well. So that's a cool. And the Disappearing Ink CD, of course, is long sold out. Goes for about $100 on eBay, and that has the Premonition cover, as I call it.
That is a freaky cover.
Yeah, well,
with what transpired later.
I'm a weird dude. I have the ability to know what you're thinking right now. So no, that was a premonition I had, and as it turns out, the day that happened, the next day I locked my doors and hid under my bed. I was pretty sure the government was going to come looking for me and say, "How did you know about that?"
They would have come for Dream Theater first, I think.
I think, because they're bigger, but I think my portrayal is right there. If you look at it's scary, but I don't know. It was an unlucky guess, I guess. Horrible event, and I'll never reprint the cover. That's why it's out of print right now. I will reprint the music in some form, and you can find some of the cooler songs on the Greatest. Hold it up, do your thing on this CD right there.
Greatest Hits by
That's
Ted
right.
Poley.
You know, it's been almost 3 minutes without a plug.
TedPoley.com.
And a Ted Poley interview. That's right. Thank you very much. Contractually, every 3 minutes we have.
Look at this. This must have what 30, 32, 33.
Yeah, and there'll be a volume
2 tracks.
Oh, and there's cool stuff coming. I have a volume 2 with a really rare song that was done with Eric Carr. You know, and there's just really neat stuff that's going to come out on a tribute and something for him first. And it's already in the can. That will be out. There's a lot of really neat things that sort of held back a little bit. And as my stuff sells out, I'll probably put it as more of a greatest hits package rather than reprinting. That way, you know, the collectors have something cool. The ones that supported me. I'm a collector of all sorts of things, and I like to keep the value in something. So if I ever reprint now, there'll be different covers, different versions, and the original people that bought it, hopefully then they bought 2 and they can sell 1 on eBay for a lot of money and hold on to the other one.
Tell us about track 16 on disc 2.
Oh, let me see what it is first.
CC Banana.
Oh, he's so cool. He's a friend of mine. He's a comedian, and Chris Caffrey actually plays the guitar lead on this song.
Chris from Sabotage.
Yeah, and then funny enough, the drummer who's on here, Dennis Leaflang, and the producer is Paul LaPlaca, who are now in my solo band, and they're amazing musicians, and the story behind that song, and I use it as my pre-tape in concert. It was basically, I was on tour with Kiss, and they're my favorite band of all time, and that's why I basically decided to do this when I was at my first Kiss concert. The bombs went off in Detroit Rock City, and I made my career decision at that very moment, and that's why I stick with ideas that I had basically in my early teens, such as this one. But anyway, I was on tour with Kiss, and so afraid of Paul Stanley because he was my hero. I couldn't even speak to him for about the first maybe 2 weeks, and then I was faced at one point, it was me at one end of one of those long arena hallways, just a white brick hallway. And my dressing room was over there, and his was behind me, and there was Paul Stanley at the end of the hallway. And I knew it was time. It was my moment to say hi to Paul. And as we passed in the hallway, I chickened out, and I put my head down, and I just couldn't do it. And I just kept walking in shame. And then I did the walk of shame because my whole band saw me. They said, "Oh, he's too scared to talk to Paul." And Paul knew. And he'd been watching my show, and I guess he was a really cool guy, and he liked me. Later on, he told me he thought I was a cool singer, which was one of the greatest moments of my life. But he got to the other end of the hallway, and he just sung. It was the Unholy Tour. And he sung at the top of his voice, "Ted Poley!" And I turned around and I said, "Ah!" And then the band came out and said, "He knows you, man." And he was so nice, and that broke the ice. And then he came back and we shook hands. And had he not done that, I probably would still be scared. But he turns out to be one of the nicest guys. Run into him all over the world, even in Japan. He went on stage. And you know, it's just a thrill every time it's Paul Stanley. To me, it's, come on, to all of you too, you know what I'm talking about. It's Paul Stanley.
Absolutely.
So, Unholy, what he did, CC Banana actually took that story and loved the story, and then turned it into Ted Poley. So it's actually Unholy, and it's a parody, and the chorus is now Ted Poley, and Paul Stanley came up with that, and CC Banana finally. I don't even sing on it, but I thought it was so great. I asked him for permission, put it on there, use it as my pre-tape. Please support him, CC Banana. He's a great guy, and hopefully that helped him out. And otherwise, it's a really cool show. TedPoley.com. It's been 3 minutes.
How long has it been?
The Rolex says 3 minutes.
Okay. Greatest hits, TedPoley.com. I want to talk about the different covers you got.
Oh yeah, that's not this version, but I really wanted, the true album concept was, this was limited edition with the boobs, and then the next version was going to be if you put Ted Poley CDs in your collection, it sort of grows like, I don't know, mold or some sort of venereal disease all over the rest of your collection, and then infects it, as it were. So if you put me in with your classic CDs and you look at the new album cover, it's 6 of classic album covers, basically. And I had a wonderful artist, Frank Garofalo, a great friend of mine, search him out, a wonderful artist, and he reproduced 6 different album covers, or more, I don't even actually know, I believe it was 6, with my image somewhere in it, or switched with the main character, as if I've sort of taken over like mold, and you see what's familiar, and then you see my face, and it's maybe narcissistic on my part because I found a great artist who wanted to do that. But I thought, I've always bought some, albums based on their cool cover art, like Yes, or Star Castle, or Journey, or, you know, sometimes I'd go to the record store every week, I had to buy a record, you know, no matter what, and even if I didn't know what they sounded like, if they had a cool album cover, wow, that's why I always loved the early Danger covers, because their art, you know, and that's why I still, you know, take great pride in overseeing the graphic arts and the boobs, you know, or boobs. But once again, I never predicted that they would outsell the $60,000 worth of art value.
You'll know for next time, right?
Yeah, well, next time, you can bet part 2.
I know what you're saying. I used to go into stores in the 80s and the 90s, early part of the 90s.
Star Castle, see, how do you not buy that? It was great, man. It was really cool.
I think it's great that you're mentioning Star Castle. That's awesome. I love Star Castle.
You know, yeah, man.
Steeplechase, there's another one.
Very good. Yeah, very good. I could go on.
Man, we could just go on and on for some of those old
I think we're losing.
albums,
but you lose the audience, the core audience. I see.
Yeah. Now, your first national gig was, at least release, was Prophet, correct? Your first record, 85.
Yes, I had done little studio things, but yes, the first full record back then, no CDs. Right?
You played drums on that, didn't you?
Yes, and sang a little bit. Yes, sang a little bit of co-lead, and eventually, in between the first and second CD, I did a little bit of lead singing on some demos for them. And actually, while we're on that topic, you know, I say hello to all the guys at Prophet, and especially Joe and Dean, who are now in heaven right there, hopefully watching this interview. And I miss them, and they were great guys. And so 2/5 of Prophet is gone now, and sad, but it was a cool time in my life. And they really schooled me. Those guys, before we recorded as an original band, they were one of the biggest bands in New Jersey as a cover band, and I joined as a drummer. And I had to come into playing Rush's 2112 in its entirety every night, and Yours Is No Disgrace by Yes, and just YYZ, but you know, all of these really cool, intense songs on the drums. And I have to admit, I was better off for it. You know, they really, it was my early training. It's great, man. And they were just fine musicians, and still are. They play in Jersey, and I look for Kenny and Scott. Hey guys, if you're watching, miss you guys, and let's jam.
From there, you got the call to join Danger. Now, how did that take place?
Well, while I was still in Prophet, Bruno was in White Lion. He was playing bass in White Lion. Their rehearsal place was in the basement of a very famous club called L'Amour in Brooklyn. Prophet was playing that night at L'Amour in Brooklyn, so we were doing sound check, and I was doing the sound check as the singer. I don't know where the singer was, or maybe he didn't feel well or whatever. And so I was doing the sound check, and Bruno was, I guess, looking for a singer. So he ran upstairs and he was singing, and I introduced myself, and he asked me to do the original Danger demos. I did those, and Prophet was about to take another record deal. The first one didn't go exactly, you know, as I had hoped, and I wasn't about to just jump into another record deal. I wasn't ready. And when it came time, they said, well, we have to sign this deal. I had just done these Danger demos, which I fell in love with. But I never really wanted to be a singer. You know, that's a little fruity. You know, I was a drummer. You like to hit stuff. But Bruno told me, listen, man, just put your start. You know, I said, I don't even know what to do. So he said, put your foot up on the monitor, hold your mic low, just sing. You know, can we curse on the internet? Is it all right? Sing the fucking songs. So anyway, that's how I started. The stage presence has evolved a little since then. But you know, instead of taking a lousy record deal, Danger had no deal, but I actually loved it, and I went with my heart on that, and then luckily it paid off. The manager took the tapes in with the Polaroids that we had from a photo session the night before. Hadn't even had the films back yet. Just took the test Polaroids in of the band. I mean, they looked cool, you know, cool guys, and the music really got, and they just wanted to see us play because they wanted to make sure we were the guys.
Yep.
You know, and we were, and we got signed immediately, and that was really cool. So I gave up a lousy record deal for a pretty good record deal. So.
Absolutely, and you guys were just on top there for a lot of years. One look at any of those Japan TV
Japan.
Shows?
Oh man, you know, I'm actually only about 5'8", but in Japan I'm like 10 feet tall. It's great. We're so big in Japan.
Big in Japan.
Oh, it was great. It was like literally having to run down streets to escape 1,000 fans that are going to trample you. I miss those days. There's a whole lot of trampling. See this fan? This is actually about 1,000. Actually, okay, we're kidding. There's a party balloon, and it will be a party later. But there's not.
They were here. We had to
honestly
clear them out because they were too loud.
Well, you know, nobody would ever lie on the internet.
No.
So in truth in the internet, I have to admit, there's not 1,000 Japanese fans hiding behind the wall. So sorry about that. But there will be hopefully 300 Australian fans rocking tonight. So, of course, this is a party because. There's balloons.
Balloons. Ted Poley balloons. TedPoley.com.
Thank you. See, I didn't even have to call.
CD.
Thank you. What a cool guy.
One other thing you were part of
Yeah,
that was pretty cool, I thought, was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Thank you. Yeah,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Jun Sanu, my musical partner for that. He's a great guitar player. Crazy Japanese musicians, the best guys, and we make this fun music. And Sonic the Hedgehog, I write a lot of the lyrics, and we do. You know, I sing on it, and I've even had the good fortune to produce a song with Tony Harnell. We did a duet for Sonic, and they get some really cool rock singers that you normally wouldn't.
Paul Shortino did one too, didn't he?
Yeah.
And
it's really cool music, and then they actually release the music of, you know, as CDs. You know, so the music in Japan is actually stands on its own. You know, so it's kind of neat because even when the games aren't playing, some people actually just like the music, and it's really cool. And the songs. It's interesting to hear, you know, Tony in a different light, or myself, and it's a nice change of pace.
All right, Ted, thank you very much. Anything you want to say to your fans?
I do. I want to say thank you so much for letting me continue to live the dream. This is truly my dream come true. It always was, and that's why I'm still doing it. And please do visit.
TedPoley.com.
Yeah.
Greatest hits CD.
No, I won't.
2 discs.
Yep. Thank you very much.
33 tracks.
One more.
34.
Very reasonably priced, shipped fast, easily paid through by PayPal. But seriously, all commercials and bullshit aside, thank you very much, and hope to rock a stage near you real soon. Come on down. Thank you.